Why I regret moving into a nursing home. 6 hard truths you must know. At the age of 81, I've lived through many things and had memorable experiences. But if there's one decision in my life that I truly regret, it's the decision to move into a nursing home. At that time, I thought it was the best choice, the safest option, a place where I would be cared for and could live my remaining years in peace. My family also supported this decision, telling me that I would have everything I needed, be well taken care of, and that life would be easier. But when I arrived there, everything was not what I had imagined. You might be thinking about a nursing home, or maybe you're considering it for a loved one. You might think it's the best solution when old age approaches. But before making such a big decision, I want to share with you 6 things I wish I had known before stepping into a nursing home. Because once you're in, everything changes, and it's not always easy to go back to how things were. Stay with me until the end of this video, as the truths I share may help you avoid regretting things like I did. 1. Losing freedom. The first thing I truly felt when I moved into the nursing home was an invisible loss that no one had warned me about: freedom. Before coming here, I could make all the decisions of my day: when to wake up, when to eat, when to rest, and even when to go for a walk. Each day was mine, and I had the right to choose and enjoy the little things in life. But when I moved into the nursing home, everything had to follow a common schedule. Breakfast was served at 7 a.m., whether I was hungry or not. Bedtime was assigned, and if I wanted to go for a walk, I had to wait and ask for permission. The small decisions that I used to make freely now became privileges I had to ask for. I remember very clearly the first day I woke up in a room that wasn't mine. I tried to find the familiar feeling of my old home, but everything was just a distant memory. My favorite chair, the book I used to read before bed, everything was gone. The feeling of not being at home made me realize how precious freedom is, even in the smallest things, and how easily it can be lost. 2. The feeling of being forgotten. One of the most heartbreaking things about living in a nursing home is realizing that the world outside keeps moving on, while you seem to have been left behind. When I first arrived here, my family promised they would visit me regularly. At first, they really did. My daughter came every week, my grandchildren visited on weekends, and I felt connected to the life out there. But as time passed, those visits became less frequent. My daughter started calling instead of coming by. My grandchildren got busy with school and work, and holidays, the occasions I looked forward to the most, weren't the same anymore. Every time they promised to come, I would wait. But in the end, I found myself sitting alone in the living room, looking at others like me, all of us with our eyes on the door, hoping someone would remember us. It's not that my family doesn't love me, but life goes on for them without me in it. When you're no longer there every day, people slowly forget what you need and how much you still need them. There was one time I picked up the phone, about to call my son, but I hesitated. I didn't want to be a burden, didn't want to remind him that I was sitting here, alone, waiting. So I put the phone down, wondering, am I still important to anyone? 3. Losing purpose. When I moved into the nursing home, I thought I was just changing my place of residence, but in reality, I was losing the very reason to live. Before coming here, I had work, responsibilities, daily routines that I did with joy and satisfaction. Every morning, I watered the plants, brewed coffee, cleaned the house. Small things that gave me a sense of being useful, of having purpose. Every day, I woke up with a reason to do something, even if it was just a small task. But when I moved into the nursing home, all of that vanished. Meals were prepared for me, cleaning was no longer my responsibility, and the plants I used to care for no longer belonged to me. At first, I told myself to relax, not to worry about anything anymore, but after a short time, I began to feel empty. The long days seemed endless, and I sat around, realizing I was losing the reasons to wake up each morning. I saw this in many of the other residents as well. There was an 84-year-old man named George, a lifelong carpenter, who always found joy in fixing things and doing small tasks around the house. But when he came here, he had no tools, no projects to work on, only long, tiring days with nothing to look forward to. One day he told me, "I feel useless." And I understood that more than ever. When you no longer have anything to do, no reason to try, life seems to lose its meaning. Fourth, rapid decline in health. Before moving into the nursing home, I was still able to take care of myself. I couldn't run a marathon, but I could take walks, cook, and maintain simple routines that kept my body healthy. Every morning I would do light exercises, I would go shopping once a week, and even just walking around the house helped keep my legs strong. I always thought that as I got older, my body would stay flexible as long as I kept moving. But when I moved into the nursing home, everything changed quickly. At first I thought I just needed a bit of rest, that I didn't have to worry about cooking or housekeeping anymore, and that someone would take care of me whenever needed. But what I didn't realize was that when you stop doing things, your body starts to weaken. I no longer walked like I used to, I didn't do things for myself anymore, and within a short time, I noticed I was feeling more tired, my legs were becoming stiffer, and getting up became a challenge. In reality, I wasn't the only one experiencing this. There were people who could walk normally at first, but just a few months later they began to need wheelchairs. One of my friends, Alice, 81 years old, was very active when she first arrived at the nursing home. She would always walk around the grounds, claiming that age couldn't stop her freedom. But just after a few months she started using a cane, then a wheelchair. One day she looked at me and said, "I don't know what happened, but it feels like I've aged 10 years in just a few months." And I understood. It's a feeling that really breaks your heart. 5. Losing privacy and dignity. One thing I didn't expect when moving into the nursing home was the loss of privacy and dignity. Before coming here, I had my own space, a room, a bed I had chosen, and I could close the door when I wanted some quiet time or do anything without anyone watching. I felt like the master of my own life, able to make decisions about everything, even the smallest things. But when I moved into the nursing home, privacy almost completely disappeared. From the moment I arrived, I realized there were always people around. Medical staff would frequently come in to check my health, change my bedding, and even during personal moments, like taking a shower or going to the bathroom, I had to depend on others for help. There were no more moments just for myself, no private space to think or relax. It's hard to accept, especially when you've been used to doing everything on your own throughout your life. And then there's the issue with the living arrangements. Not everyone gets a private room. I was lucky to have a roommate who was fairly easygoing, but not everyone is that fortunate. Some people have to share a room with noisy, untidy individuals, or those with cognitive issues that make sleep almost impossible. While I tried to make my room a cozy space, the feeling of "this is not my home" always lingered. I also remember times when I felt more like a patient than a person. The healthcare workers, though dedicated to their jobs, sometimes treated me in a way that made me feel like I was just a name on a list, not a human being. They weren't my loved ones, and the way they spoke to me sometimes lacked the respect I felt I deserved. All of these things made me lose not only my privacy, but also the dignity I once cherished. 6. Realizing that leaving a nursing home is harder than you think. When I first moved into the nursing home, I thought it would just be a temporary solution. I told myself I would try it out for a while, and if I didn't like it, I could always go back home. But what I didn't anticipate was that once you're here, leaving is not as easy as I thought. At first, I believed that if I didn't feel comfortable, I could return home. But when I looked back, I realized that home was no longer the same. The house I once loved was now empty, and maintaining it from a distance had become a huge challenge. My children started selling things they thought I no longer needed, and even considered renting out the house. When I talked to them about returning, they weren't really supportive. They asked if I could still take care of myself and whether it would be safe for me to live alone. They just wanted me to be at peace, and then I started to feel like I wasn't strong enough to return to the life I had before. I'm not the only one who feels this way. Many people here thought they could try out the nursing home for a while and then return home, but the longer they stay, the harder it becomes to go back. Some people even lost the chance to leave when their homes were sold or their savings ran out due to the cost of care. Staying in a nursing home long-term doesn't just take away your independence, it also takes away your ability to change your life. The time spent here gradually becomes your life, and before you realize it, the outside world has become a distant memory. Looking back, I don't regret having the opportunity to grow old and experience many things in life, but I truly regret thinking that a nursing home was the only option for me. When I moved here, I expected comfort, safety, and a better life, but what I ended up with was a world that gradually took away my independence, privacy, purpose, and even my sense of self. This doesn't mean that nursing homes are entirely bad. For some people, this place is truly necessary for them to receive care that they can no longer provide for themselves. However, before making a decision, you need to think carefully about what you will have to give up. Once you're here, your life will never be the same. If I could go back, I would fight harder to keep my independence, to find other solutions that allow me to maintain my freedom without giving up so much. And if you're facing this decision, I hope you take the time to think, is this truly the best choice for you, or is it just an easy solution for now? The life you have now, the habits, the freedom, and the choices you make are precious things that you should hold on to for as long as you can. Thank you for watching this video. If you found these insights helpful, don't hesitate to leave a comment about what you learned and how you will apply it to your life. Your thoughts are important to us, and reading your comments is a huge motivation for us to continue creating valuable content. If you think this video was helpful, please like, subscribe, and share it so others can get the information they need. Thank you for watching, and we look forward to seeing you in our next videos.